morning, everybody. What's going on? This is Pastor Ron Triple here. I'm on my way into service.
God is a protect. God will protect. He said it in verse 3. Sitting right here for us, saying, give me some water. If you knew who I was, you would be asking me for some water. Be bold. Be strong.
Amen. God bless you. Galatians chapter 6. Galatians chapter 6. I invite you to verse 9. Galatians chapter 6, verse 9. In the Common English Bible, it says, let us not get tired of doing good, because in time we'll have a harvest if we don't give up. Let's not get tired of doing good, because in time we'll have a harvest if we don't give up. I just want to remind us of just a few things today, if you don't mind. We have talked on this text before, not in the past, but every now and again it's good to be reminded of some things. Is that all right if I just remind us of some things today? Amen. On this Communion Sunday, Galatians was a letter written by Paul to the church at Galatia. Paul founded this church on one of his missionary journeys, and the church was consisted of Gentile believers. Now, after staying for an unspecified length of time, Paul moved on to his next ministry assignment when the church, when the community was up and running well. In the process of time for this particular church, some people arose, perhaps some missionaries who suggested that Gentile believers were not authentic, were not real. Somehow they were incomplete in the faith until they became fully Jewish. And that meant for the men to become circumcised and adhere to Jewish law. Sometimes there comes a time in our fellowships that individuals want to question the authenticity of somebody else's faith. You ain't got it real good until you got it like I think you ought to have it. If you didn't come in under Reverend so-and-so, then you ain't authentic. Y'all follow me here? If you didn't get baptized a certain kind of way, then perhaps maybe your faith may not be as authentic. And so this is what happened with these these Gentile believers at the church at Galatia. Paul's letter is heated, it is intense, and it is meant to defend the gospel of faith and the finished work of Calvary, while it encouraged people not to be swayed by false teachers. In the beginning of the book of Galatians, the beginning of the letter of Galatians, he began his letter by saying, I am amazed. He said, I am amazed at how you are so quickly deserting the one who called you by the grace of God to follow another gospel, a gospel that Paul is saying, I did not present to you. You are deserting the gospel. You're deserting what I've been taught, what I've taught you to desert and to go find and follow after another type of teaching, a teaching that puts you in bondage, a teaching puts you in, or that inauthenticates you when you are fully authenticated. You are fully loved. You are fully accepted by God. Can you just tap yourself on your own chest and say, God loves me. God loves me. God loves me. God accepts me. And so Paul starts chapter 1 out by saying, I'm amazed about this. And then he goes on to chapter 2 and talks about his own journey as a believer. He talks about his own journey and how his journey as far as when he came to know Christ and how Christ revealed Christ's self to him, and then how he went to learn of Christ. And then he went into chapter 3 and talking about how we are heirs of Abraham, and the way that all of us, both Jew and Gentile, the way that Gentiles are included in this being heirs of Abraham is through faith, not just through ethnicity, but through faith in God. How many of you know that God calls and God deals with people past their ethnicity. You don't have to have brown skin for God to love you. You don't have to come from a certain place. You don't have to have a certain economic status for God to love you and God to accept you. Aren't you glad? Aren't you glad that you don't have to have a certain pedigree? You don't have to come from a certain family for God to love you and God just to tell you. In fact, the Bible says that when we were all sinners and when we were all afar, Christ died for us. Who is the us? Everybody. For God so loved the world that God gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in God shall not perish but have everlasting life. You may have come from the wrong side of the tracks, but that's all right. God saw you and God knows you and God loves you. You may have grown up in a great home, but you might have went your own way. Thought you knew what you were doing and made some wrong decisions, and you may think that God has forgotten about you or cast you away. Let me announce to you today with joy, God has not forgotten about you. God still loves you. God still cares about you. And God still accepts you. I wish you could just tap on somebody and just tell them, I'm still included. I'm still included. I'm still included. So since I'm included, and since I'm included, not by having to do one thing or another. I don't have to do one thing. It's not just one specific thing I have to do. All I have to do is believe. All I have to do is have faith, have confidence in, have assurance in. And all I have to do is believe in Jesus Christ. Then I don't have to be held by or bound by or chained to a specific rigidity or specific group of rules to make me authentic, to make me accepted. And so in chapter 4, Paul is saying that we are free in Christ. I heard Jesus say in the book of John, who the Son has set free is what? Free indeed. Yes, God has made me free. God has made you free. We should not let anybody bind us to a certain thing or another, because Christ has made us free. And if Christ has made us free, then we are free. Free to love God, free to worship God, free to honor God, free to serve God, free to love one another, free to serve one another. Free, I'm free. I'm so free I can love you, even though you're not showing love to me. I'm so free I can do good to you, even though you don't want me to do good for you. I'm free, free enough to do good to those who despitefully use me. Free enough to pray for those who are running your name down to the ground. Free. I'm free today. How about you? Free to serve the Lord, even though everybody's looking down on you. Free to serve God, even though it means that sometimes I may have to not do what I want to do. I'm free to serve it. Who the Son has set free, we are what? Free indeed. Yes, sir. Chapter 4 talks about how we are free in Christ. Then chapter 5, Paul follows this up because with freedom there is responsibility. We're not just free to do anything we want to do at any time we want to do it, but we are free with responsibility. Can somebody say amen? So Paul in chapter 5 he begins to talk and he says, listen, for those of you who walk in the flesh, or those of you who are guided in the flesh, won't carry out selfish desires. And he lists those selfish desires, such as sexual immorality, moral corruption, doing whatever feels good. You know, you're just saying it because you want to say it, because you're old enough. Because ain't nobody paying your bills but you. So you can say whatever you want to say, whatever you want to say, to whomever you want to spread your venom, spread your vitriol all around all of your negative energy. The devil is a liar. Those are works of the flesh. Come here, come a little closer. That's a work of the flesh. And then Paul says that is not what we should use our freedom for. But listen what he says. But the fruit of the Spirit. the outgrowth of the Spirit, the way that we show, that we express that we have God's Spirit. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. My God, and self-control. I'll say it again, and self-control. I'll say it one more time, and self-control. We can be controlled enough that we don't have to buy everything at every shopping mall that we go to. Controlled enough, self-control, so that we don't have to eat every time we think that we want to eat. We don't have to eat all of the cake. We can just have a slice of cake. So come on, somebody in here. We don't have to endanger our health like that. I'm talking to you. Self-control. We don't have to eat the pork that we want to eat because it's going to drive our blood pressure up and put us in danger of having a stroke. The devil is a liar. We don't have to do that because God has given us what? Self-control. When they call you on the phone and begin talking about people and talking about stuff and giving you their negativity, we are controlled enough so we can say, listen, you know I love you, right? But this conversation we cannot have. I will talk to you later when we find something else to talk about. We can talk about my dog, my cat, the gerbil. We can talk about the politics. We can talk about anything, but we won't just be negative. We're controlled enough. So the motivation that we use, the motivation that we have is love. Love conquers all. Love covers a multitude of sin. Are you with me here today? I'm just talking. I got about a few more minutes. I'm just talking today. We got clocked up, so it's helping me to stay on time. Good God in here. So chapter 5 talks about the fruit of the Spirit. And then Paul says, if we live by the Spirit, let's follow the Spirit. Let's not be arrogant. Let's not make each other angry or be jealous of one another. And then Paul gets to chapter 6. And then Paul in chapter 6, he talks about, he says, brother, sister, he says, listen, if somebody is caught in a wrong, ye who are spiritual among you. I'll say it again. Ye who are spiritual. We'll talk about that person. Did he say that? No. You who are spiritual, run that person down and pour salt in their wound. Did he say that? I just wanted to be all following me. I know I was a little wave right there, but I just want to see if y'all does it say that? You were spiritual, beat them down, make them feel even more ashamed and unwelcome. Does it say that? Okay, I just was wondering. Y'all with me today? Just making sure. We said you who are spiritual among them, restore such a one. Restore, mend back together like a fishing net, like mending a fishing net, put back in place like a broken bone is set back in place. If a person is overtaken in a fault, then those of us who are spiritual come together and say, hey brother, hey sister, the Lord still loves you. Let me just let you know, we're going to put you back into place and we're going to restore you with love. We're not shaming you. We're not holding this thing over your head. 10 years from now, we won't say, I love Sister so-and-so, but you remember 10 years ago when she did this? You remember 5 days ago when he said that? That's not restoring. That's not restorative. But to restore is to put back into place. Are you with me in here? And so he said, do it with the spirit of gentleness, which is a fruit of the Holy Spirit. And he says, now listen, watch out. You need to do this because you may need your sins forgiven. You may need restoration at one time. So for all of you spiritual people who never do anything wrong, you know who you are. For all of you who think that you don't do whatever, so you can pretty much be judge and jury of everybody. Let me encourage you today. Listen, if you stay human, if you remain human, and if you remain on this side of life, at some point you're going to step on somebody's toes, accidentally, you're going to brush up against somebody or say something to somebody, and you will need forgiveness and restoration as well. And so he says, consider yourselves lest you also be tempted. Are you with me here today? With God in you. Yes, we have a responsibility, he said, to one another. In the book of in chapter 6, he said, fulfill the law of Christ. And the law of Christ was a sacrificial law. He said to live under the guidance of the to live under the guidance of the Holy Spirit is to live in a relationship of independence. That's what commentary remarked about this particular text. He said, listen, when you live under the guidance of the Holy Spirit, we live in interdependence upon one another. And so that means that we need one another. This is as much as you have a personal salvation, this is a communal type of a walk. In that no man or woman is an island. Nobody stands alone. We need one another. You need me and I need you. I say it all the time. We are a gift to one another. You are my gift and I am your gift. Turn to somebody and just let them know you are my gift. You are my gift. You are my gift. And so we are dependent upon one. You cannot make it without somebody else. I know some of you like to be recluse and you like to be, you draw into yourself. The term is escaping me right now because I'm one of those. I can't remember the term. Introverted. Thank you. Introverted. Yeah, I'm an introvert. I don't do anything. You don't come to eat with the community. You don't do anything. You just come in. You come in late. I don't act like I don't see you. But you come in late. You stare in the back. And act before the last day. You slip it out so that you don't have to talk to anybody. I don't know what the problem is. Do we have cooties? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you need. We need one another. We need you. And you need us. Is everybody with me here today? So it says, listen, so verse 3 talks about not thinking more, that they are more important when they aren't. Because if you think that way, you are fooling yourselves. And he goes on in the chapter and he says, listen, everybody ought to examine their own work. They ought to examine whether their work really embodies the living character of Christ. And then in verse 6, he goes on to talk about good manners. He said, listen, if you were taught by someone, then the teacher ought to deserve good things. If they're giving you, the teacher is giving you good things, then the teacher deserves good things from you. But then it goes on to chapter, verses 7 through 9. And in verses 7 through 9, Paul says, listen, be not deceived. Don't make a mistake. He said, listen, you cannot fool God. He said, you cannot pull a fast one over on God. He said, listen, God is not whatever a person sows, that will they also reap. What you put out there is what you will get back. Is everybody with me in here today? Listen, what a person receives is dependent upon what a person puts out there. And then he goes on to say, listen, he says, so I want to let everybody know we all are going to get a harvest. We're going to get a harvest of something based upon what we put out there. So if we planted apples, what are we going to get? If we planted pears, what are we going to get? Pears. If we planted onions, what are we going to get? Onions. So if you plant and you put out positivity, what will you get in return? Positivity. But inversely, if you put out negativity, what will you get back in return? Negativity. And so listen, here's the last thing. Paul is saying to us. He says, let us not get tired of doing good. Don't get tired of being positive. Don't get tired of sowing positivity because in due season you shall reap if you faint not. In other words, don't let you stop you from receiving a favorable harvest. I'll say it again. Don't let you stop you from receiving a favorable harvest. Can you say it with me? Don't let you stop you from receiving a favorable. How can you stop you from receiving a favorable harvest? The way way that one can stop themselves from receiving a favorable harvest is by giving up, is by giving into weariness, giving into tiredness, being utterly spiritless, being worn out or exhausted. And that's what the devil comes to do. The enemy, evil, comes to wear the saints of God out, comes to make you tired, comes to make you utterly spiritless, comes to exhaust you. Trouble comes, challenges come, disagreements with individuals come, issues with all kinds of systems come. When you look at the news, politics come, and decisions are made. What happens is we become tired, we become worn out, we become exhausted, always going back and forth with people. Cannot get a clear answer, cannot get somebody to follow through. Initial problem to solve it, it comes to to make you the systems to tire you out, to make you weary. Grief comes, it tires you out, it makes you weary. Sickness comes to tire you out, to make you weary. Sometimes caregiving tires you out, makes you weary. The Bible says, be not weary. Don't get tired. Don't get stressed out. Don't get exhausted. Be not weary. You will do it. For in due season, there's coming a time. There's coming the fullness of time. When a harvest is coming to you, God's going to pay you back. That's what it is. God's going to pay you back. Don't stop making the right decision. You feel unappreciated. It's all right. Go home, go to sleep. Get yourself some rest. Have yourself a glass of Fiji water. Splurge a little bit. Thank you, Jesus. Do something that is life-giving and come back and step right and keep on going. Keep on believing. The enemy wants to stop you from being a good father. Stop you from being a good mother. The enemy wants to wear you out from being that praying grandmother, praying grandfather. The enemy wants to wear you out. I'm coming to tell you that the devil is a liar. I'm trying to go to communion. I need you to just get your window out and turn to page 12 and 13. That's where we're going. But the devil is a liar. He's a liar. Because what he wants to do, he wants to wear you out so that you're ineffective. Are y'all with me? I'm going to move this a little bit. I already know that the devil wants to wear you out. And in doing so, he makes you ineffective. So in making you ineffective, that means that you are not accomplishing what God has given you to accomplish. You're not fulfilling your life's purpose. You're not fulfilling your life's mission. And some way, there's somebody who's depending on you to be effective. There's somebody who's depending on you to be on purpose. Mission. There's somebody connected to you. There's somebody who needs a blessing. There's somebody who needs a miracle. And you are the miracle. You are the blessing. You are the answer to somebody. for the grace. So what has God given us? God has given us God's Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit comes to help us. The Holy Spirit comes to empower us. The Holy Spirit comes to encourage us. The Holy Spirit comes to lead us and guide us, the scripture says, into all truth. The Holy Spirit comes to comfort us. The Holy Spirit also comes to help us to have that self-control. The Holy Spirit is like a governor. God keeps you on track, keeps you going at the right speed. If you understand what I'm saying here? The Holy Spirit. So I want to invite you just to lift your hands and just be open to the Holy Spirit. Be open to the Holy Spirit right now. Be open to Him filling you again. Be open to God right now, filling you with all that you need to make your journey this week. Everything that you need to make your journey, God is giving it to you right now by faith. Receive it by faith. Receive it by faith. And if God, if someone gives you something, what do you say? Hey, come on, let's give our thanks to God.